Last night, Colby Covington was officially removed from the UFC roster. According to Brett Okamoto, Covington informed UFC officials of his decision to retire. Over the last year, Colby's relationship with the UFC appeared to shift significantly. He was once viewed as a company man, but recently claimed the UFC no longer valued him in the same way, and he was reportedly unhappy about being left off the UFC White House card. Covington leaves the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak, suffering a unanimous decision loss to Leon Edwards in 2023, followed by a doctor stoppage loss to Joaquin Buckley in 2024. His last UFC victory came against Jorge Masvidal back in 2022. Since then, Colby has picked up wins over Luke Rockhold and Dylan Dennis in Real American Freestyle Wrestling. What do you guys think is next for Colby? Could we eventually see him compete at an MVP MMA event in the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. About a week and a half after defeating Khamzat Chimaev and becoming a 2-time UFC middleweight champion, Sean Strickland is back in training despite dealing with a shoulder injury and recently having his wisdom teeth removed.
Well, guys, got my wisdom teeth out Sunday. I got a blown shoulder, but we're out here back training, putting on these show them what's up. It's gonna be a real hard couple months for me, but you know, gotta keep the demons away.
Alex Pereira spars with Mauricio Ruffy as they both prepare to fight on the White House card. Alex will face Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight title, and Ruffy is set to fight Michael Chandler. Dustin Poirier shared his thoughts on Justin Gaethje's chances against Ilia Topuria. Dustin says it's a very difficult stylistic matchup for Gaethje and believes Justin will need to fight nearly a perfect fight in order to come out with the win.
Yeah, it's not that I'm rooting against him or anything. I just think it's a tough stylistic matchup for him. If he's loose with the big punches he throws, Ilia's so tight, combinations are short and clean. You know, Gaethje just has to clean it up a little bit. And like I said in the past, Gaethje has said this leading up to fights, like, I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect. In this fight, he has to be perfect. Because Topuria is so dangerous.
Dustin and Jorge Masvidal also gave their thoughts on the upcoming fight between Paddy Pimblett and Benoit St Denis in the co-main event of UFC 329.
Rest of the UFC 329 card, Paddy Pimblett taking on Benoit St Denis. What a great fight that is. Yeah.
I got.
Who you got?
I got Paddy.
You got Paddy?
You got Paddy?
I got Paddy.
I got BSD.
I don't think so. But I mean,
smashes him, man.
What's the odds on that?
I don't know what the odds are. I'm sure HQ will tell me in a second. Why do you got Paddy? Or BSD?
BSD. I just think he's a better overall fighter. I think he's a little tougher. I think he definitely hits harder. And I think on the feet he has more tools as well. Paddy, I know he's kicking now, kneeing and stuff, but I just think BSD is a little bit more complete and he'll dig deeper, you know? I mean, nobody would know more than Dustin.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think BSD's got this one.
I just think both guys are great fighters. I just compare it to the Gaethje fight. I think if BSD fought Gaethje, Gaethje would stop him on the feet. And Paddy took it and was still able to keep walking forward.
Paddy definitely has a chin.
Yeah, he definitely has a chin.
Gifted chin. You know?
He definitely has a chin. I just don't know if BSD's gonna be able to get him down. You know, I think Paddy probably wins on the feet. BSD's not that slick on the feet. He might have power.
He's not that slick on the
feet. And
feet.
he's not scared to take chances. He'll walk in front of you, get in your face, and put himself in harm's way to land his shots. I just think Paddy's probably a little bit better on the feet.
Demetrius Johnson recently linked up with George St Pierre. During the conversation, GSP said there's a big misconception about him living like a monk, when in reality he actually enjoys plenty of the same vices as everyone else. GSP also explained to Mighty Mouse why he never actually liked fighting.
Are you on a diet, DJ, or?
I always eat pretty healthy year-round, so...
Really, huh?
Yeah.
I gotta learn this. I gotta do that. That's one thing I need to change is...
What are you talking about? You're still...
I do not eat healthy at all, man.
Oh, bull.
No, I don't. I really don't. People have their false image of me that I live like a monk and stuff, and I don't drink. I have all the
vices.
All the vices in the world, trust me. One of the reasons I never liked fighting. I never really liked it. At first you can get hurt, but also it's heartbreaking. It's like you have done all this for ending up losing. It's the feeling is terrible. It's like terrible. But the winning is
the highest.
Yeah, when you win everything, you feel like everything, all that sacrifice was worth it, right?
Absolutely.
Some guys like. Do you like fighting? How do you feel about fighting?
I don't, now being removed from it, I'm not the biggest fan just because the financial aspect of it, right? But I think I think me fighting and like understanding like, okay, this is the problem. How can I figure this person out? I love that aspect of it, like the IQ of it and the gamemanship of it. I love that. But like hurting somebody, hitting somebody, I never liked that.
After Francis Ngannou knocked out Philipe Lins over the weekend, he actually gave Lins his $100,000 performance bonus. Francis had a message for him today on X. He posted these photos. He wrote, "I really want to take a moment to thank my opponent Philipe Lins for taking the fight and bringing the fight this past weekend. He was definitely tougher than I expected. Nothing but respect to him and his team for the professionalism and sportsmanship they showed all week. As I said, I saw a lot of people all week counting him out. But this guy is tough and I will continue to advocate for him." Mike Perry reacts to fighters and fans saying that Nate Diaz looked like in their fight over the weekend. Perry says he believes Nate performed the way he always does.
Can I ask, like I saw a clip earlier today of Dustin Poirier on his show saying like Nate looked like dog and they have a history as well. But I'm just wondering from your perspective, is enough being said about you, in your opinion?
Well, that's what they do, right? They take it away from me and they make things about the guy who was more famous. They'd rather talk about his stumble or the fact that he's just so tough that he could stand there bleeding and seem to not care and try to do whatever he can. It's not that he looked like, because he looked like, in my opinion, like he usually does. It's just I had the abilities to just dominate in that space. And it wasn't all domination. Like first round, he was jabbing me away. He was landing some shit just because I was walking into it or walking through it. Some of it was pushing me up, but I was setting my range and timing. So, if they don't want to give me credit, it's just another Mike Perry fight where they don't, I don't necessarily always get the credit or I don't have 1 million followers, but that's fine because I'm going to keep working out hard. I show up to get that check on fight night and fight like I want to win and fight like I want to fight it again, another big fight.
Gina Carano has released her first statement since her 17-second submission loss to Ronda Rousey. She reveals what Jon Jones said to her after the event. Gina posted this on Instagram. She wrote, "This was one of the best rides of my life. I felt locked in fight night. No fear, just positive adrenaline. Love to my team. My heart is heavy. I wanted to throw, battle, win, but I kicked when I should have moved and was down and done. If I hadn't tapped, she would have broken my arm as it begun to crackle. The disappointment of losing like that is very humbling. Jon Jones and Cain Velasquez came up to my table after the fight. They set my mind straight. Jon said, 'You haven't fought in 17 years. Do you know how big your balls have to be to get back in there after that long? Did you set some sort of record or something? Respect.' That's exactly what I needed to hear from the best to ever do it. I've been in a caloric deficit for a year. Training felt like swimming as hard as I could upstream. I can count on 2 hands the number of times I felt good training. It was physically the hardest thing I've ever done, taking the weight off while turning back into an athlete. I felt like a science experiment losing 100 pounds. Every week the pressure of how to get that little bit off. I learned a little late how to do it healthier, but trial by fire. The California Athletic Commission is great and one of the strictest in the world. They weighed me a week and a half before the fight, extra tests and scans, multiple drug tests. We weighed in and they weighed us on the night of the fight to make sure we complied with the rehydration rules, which I passed all easily. I needed to go through this fight to implement permanent lifestyle changes, and now I feel like this is just the beginning. I can't wait to see where I could push my body to go next. I'm so glad I got to experience this version of Ronda Rousey. I found a beautiful woman, wife, mother, daughter, sister, and legend. I adore you, lady. We made history again. I hope MVP MMA Netflix continues on because they crushed it. Respect where respect is due. At Nikisa, at Jake Paul, it was a great experience. Thank you all for showing your support. It's because of you we get to face our fears and live our dreams. With all my heart, thank you. Carlos Prates dropped some new sparring footage. At the moment, Prates is not officially booked for a fight. However, welterweight champion Islam Makhachev recently said he would rather face Prates than Ian Gary, believing Prates currently has the most momentum following his recent TKO victory over Jack Della Maddalena. Matt Brown criticized the recent MVP card, saying the entire event, especially Ronda Rousey, was cringe as f***. Brown said Rousey came across as angry throughout the entire build-up to her fight with Gina Carano, and added that he believes she needs therapy. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Brown said, "For me personally, and I think for a lot of people, there was no redeeming qualities for this card in terms of making us bigger fans of Ronda. I don't like how she carried herself. I don't like how she spoke. I think she's a narcissist, and I think she's got a lot of mental issues, and I think she maybe needs to go to therapy or something. If she said she's coming back for money, I get it. You're prize fighting. Come back, get a bag. There's no redeeming quality about winning this fight. You fought someone that hasn't fought in 17 years. What are you proud of? There's nothing to be proud of there. I think she's just kind of a narcissistic person, and nothing about this really felt good in my opinion. The whole thing with this fight card, I don't think anybody would disagree that this whole fight card from beginning to end was kind of cringe as f***. Ronda was just the cringiest person ever, with her mean mugging the whole time, and looking angry in all the build-up, all the she said leading up to it, talking so much to Hunter Campbell, and this kind of vengeful personality that she has all this anger and frustration. You really just need to go to therapy. You need a friend and some people to help you just calm down. Learn some stoicism and Dana White revealed there is currently a bug problem at the White House ahead of the UFC event, and admitted they are still trying to figure out how to handle the situation.
Other problem that I always think about, especially on the East Coast, bugs. So President Trump just opened the Rose Garden 2 nights ago, and he invited me to dinner there.
Yep.
The amount of gnats that were flying around, I'm like, holy. As soon as I got on the plane, I called my head of production and said, yeah, let me tell you about the gnat situation tonight. So when you're a fighter, think about that lighting grid, the claw that we're gonna have, the amount of power in the lights, moths, gnats, and God knows what else. Fighters trying to deal with that. So
you remember Jabba Chamberlain? Remember the Yankee game where the pitcher was pitching, came in for like the save, and the gnats were flying all over his face and his eyes, and he threw the game? You got to see the footage of it.
These are all the things I think about. And I never knew that, no. But yeah, in your mouth and your nose while you're trying to fight. So I was telling Craig, my head of production, I was like, maybe we put fans in that can, you know, because gnats have a hard time in the wind. I don't know, man. These are all the little details that we have to think about. That's why I don't like fighting outside. Ever.
And that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to John Jones saying that MVP did a better job of hosting an MMA event than the UFC, and also saying he believes he can get out of his UFC contract despite the fact that he has 6 fights left on it. The first one's from John O. Harper. It says the guy that rejected $30 million to defend his title, but he rather retired, now wants to go to MVP to fight Francis for $1.5 million. The same Francis that he ducked for 2 years in the UFC. Jones has become a meme at this point. The second one's from David Crawford. It says no one talking about all the empty seats at that event. If they say it was sold out, that is BS, unless the owner paid for all the empty seats. And the final one's from Mr. Blonde1264. It says John's living in La La Land if he ever thinks Dana and Hunter are ever going to let him out of his UFC contract. If you want to be featured in our next video, all you have to do is drop a comment down below. Also, be sure to check out our latest video essay on why MMA fans are turning on Dana White. It's on screen right now. And as always, thanks for watching.